What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Madonna, and we're going back to her 1983 self-titled debut album, and we're up to the tune Holiday. It's funny, when I began this deep dive, I wasn't thinking about that tune, it wasn't on my sort of memory radar, but as soon as I did the first couple reactions, a number of people commented and they mentioned that track. And so when I read that track, or the title and the comments, it immediately made me flash to the sort of refrain. I don't know if it's the chorus, I would assume it's the chorus, but maybe it's like a lead into the chorus, maybe it actually is in the verses, but the holiday celebrate sequence, that refrain immediately jumped into my head. So obviously I am aware of this tune on some level. Perhaps I haven't heard it as many times over the years as Lucky Star, but ultimately I do think I recall this tune from my youth to a certain degree. I can't really remember any of the lyrics per se, but outside of that actual sort of two-word refrain. So yeah, without that in mind, I would just say, you know, the title Holiday makes me think about a celebration. Indeed, it makes me think about a sort of commemoration of something. Now, it may not be a literal holiday. It could be sort of like a shared holiday between people, maybe an anniversary, but maybe just sort of some period of time in which they feel particularly connected. So if I were to guess, I would maybe go in that direction, but let's find out. This is Madonna. The tune is Holiday, and it's from her 1983 self-titled album. It feels a little familiar, but not as immediately as Borderline. The moment that one started, it was like, wait. A little like cowbell. I like the bass. Okay, that feels even more familiar. A little funk to that. People mentioned they heightened her voice. In that refrain, I can hear it. Feels like the scope is much bigger than I was thinking. That line makes me think that people use the word like vacation. We're gonna holiday wherever. sort of the producers needed to do what they did in the first place. I like that. So far, this album doesn't seem like sort of short and cookie cutter. The songs are like long. They have like to it. Like offset from everything else, it just really has that funky rhythm with that line. Yeah, again, I don't know, was that like 5-6 minutes? Over 6 minutes. So yeah, again, I like that. In fact, I think someone was, I'm now remembering, was commenting when I did the reaction to Lucky Star, and I was thinking the same thing, that like, man, this is, you know, feels like it could be a 12-inch mix, because it was like 5.5, 6 minutes long, and this one is obviously more of the same, and I enjoy it. Again, like, as someone who, you know, in my years over time became a DJ, I got my turntables in like 98, again, born in 1980, so, you know, I was alive when this song came out, when this album came out, but obviously, you know, the degree to which I interacted with music as a single-digit kid was enthusiastic, but limited in many senses. And so then, yeah, by the time I got turntables, I was obviously paying attention to a lot of techno, as, you know, people who know my channel will be aware. But over time, I was keen to sort of like reconnect with a lot of groups, you know, initially sort of like Depeche Mode in the 90s, like when I was mixing records, you know, techno records and so on, was one of the groups that I started realizing, wait, there's all these like different remixes of the tracks that I know from their studio albums, which as a single-digit kid, I was just buying cassette tapes. So I would then, you know, hear like the schizo mix of Just Can't Get Enough, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool, and it's long, and it has this like crazy like outro section. And then, you know, over time I realized it's not, you know, just Depeche, but that a lot of groups had these like 12-inch mixes, extended dance mixes, and so on. So in the last few years, especially as I've tried to sort of like reconnect with music from my youth, you know, obviously within the last year more significantly than any time before that, I've come to listen to a lot of dance remixes of tunes that I have heard from my youth. So it's not surprising to me that I would hear a tune from the mid-'80s that has 5-6 minutes, you know, multiple sections, like in sort of like improv, or not improv, but like solo section and so on. But the fact that these are like on her like album, and on the debut album, I'm very impressed with. I like the idea that the tracks were given the space to sort of, you know, do different things and be sort of like a musical journey, and weren't sort of like, no, it has to be 3.5 minutes, you know, 1 verse chorus, 2nd verse chorus, 3rd verse outro. Like, it feels like there's more space for artistic creativity. But that's funny though, because I was saying, you know, my understanding based on what a couple people said is that they actually like pitched up her vocals a little bit in certain parts of the tracks to give her kind of a more youthful sound. But I think that's sort of weird, because again, a couple moments where I'm like, really, ooh, I like the vocals there, it's actually when she goes a bit deeper and like, you know, huskier, if you will. So yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, it sounds like the producers kind of allowed the tracks to be bigger than maybe the standard synth pop track at the time, but at the same time, obviously they felt like they had to package her voice in a way that would make it like, you know, more compelling to some people who I guess, you know, want to hear that like youthful female singer sound. So either way, I'm intrigued as we go through the album. Again, I have some level of familiarity with this, but it is basically an unknown like deep dive. So looking forward to more of the album. Once again, shout out to Mark and all the people who've taken an interest in the Madonna deep dive. And yeah, I will see you next time. Peace.